You are now tuning in to the Val and Val Show, where conversation is art, art, art. Conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what to spark on the Val and Val Show. Ain't no telling the Val and Val Show. You know, ain't no telling where we go on the Val and Val Show. Ain't no ceiling, cause the art of conversation is the flow. It's that creativity available when we speak, available in our homes, available in the streets. We just trying to get it sparking and take it a little deeper. Keep it casual while fireside chatting with our people. Yeah, we take it a little deeper. It get hot when we fireside chatting with our people. Cause conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what'll spark on the Val, the Val and Val Show. The Val and Val Show.
Well, hello there. Hello there. Hope all is well. Welcome to Conversation is Art, the Val and Val Show. Well, look, it's our third Thursdays, and we're going to have Tiff on, Tiffany Johnson Cole. So, look, y'all, it's been a lot going on. I don't had to pray and read the word and just stay off of social media as well as reading some posts and everything. It's just a lot going on. It just seems like you're being besieged on all sides in the world. It's just so much going on to crime, hate, just all kind of stuff. Just all kind of stuff. Even today, saw where another evangelical pastor in Dallas, another moral failure, um, apparently had an affair, an inappropriate relationship with a woman, an affair, adultery, because he's married. So I'm gonna say this, and this me included. Listen, God is tired, way past tired. So he's revealing all of this stuff. And the thing, and not to be necessarily so critical about the evangelicals, but it's amazing. You can be anti everything but adultery, fornication, or and actually even though you speak out against LBGTQIs, many are undercover with that. So it's amazing how you throw stones and you live in all kind of darkness in your own life. So this old song, and I think what was the group, y'all? Somebody type it in the chat if you own. Um, the group Lee Williams, or who was it sing that song? Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. So look, you can't preach to anybody else about sin if you are sinning out there doing all kind of things and throwing. Well, you ain't even really throwing rocks and hiding your hand. Y'all are doing all this stuff, a lot of it in open. But it's just amazing how many of these pastors is falling. And what I find interesting is how many in Texas. I was like, oh my God, what kind of spirit they got going on out there? So listen, that's why you need to study the word for yourself and know that you cannot look to a man because they will fail you every time. And all of us are not perfect. And that's the thing we need to realize. None of us are perfect. So you got to be careful when you're just overly critical and dogging people out and talking about what they shouldn't do. And you're doing everything, and maybe sometimes even worse, even worse. Y'all want, I don't even, the man first name is Steven. I don't remember his last name. But anyway, I will say this though. What his church didn't do, they didn't make no excuses. They stripped him down and took his money. They say he is no longer our pastor without compensation. Okay. They was like, not on our watch. So that's a good thing. At least they ain't making excuses. So look, like I told y'all, it's third Thursdays with Tiff. And look, she already don't text me earlier. We're like, girl, what we talking about this week? Because it's a lot going on. So Tiff, come on up in here, girl. You right. It's a lot going on. Let me see why you ain't popping up. There you
Look,
go.
I'm trying to get my look. I'm doing like the young folk. I'm in the car tonight because life is lifing over here, and I thought we was set.
You
Stick my head into the Lee County Democratic little
Blues on the Plains, man. And I'm up in there hobnobbing and grinning, and then I get your text. I'm like, Lord, I got to go. So I was gonna try to run home, but then I said, you know what? All of the young people be doing their lives from in the car, so I'm getting ready to be like the young people and just sit in the car with the lights on. Let me see. Look, is it working? See,
Yeah, you're a little ghost out. What you talking
yeah.
on? You talking through your car phone?
Cause I can't figure out how to get you in my earpiece.
Oh, you couldn't hear me because you sounded it's kind of garbled. I can understand you,
Can you
but it's
hear
kind of
me?
yeah. I can.
I'm trying to get in my earpiece. I can't get the earpiece to work. Listen,
Hey, life is life, and hey,
look, when I tell you, let me
well, look,
see.
hey, look, you all.
Okay,
Tiffany
here I
has
am. Is that
young
better?
kids. Oh yeah, that's much better.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, look, y'all. Tiffany has young children, so she's pulled to and fro, and then she trying to be involved in the community and do everything. So Tiff, we don't have to go the full hour tonight. We know I want you to get back so you can know what's
I'm
going.
in the car. I'm good. But look, I told
You
you
good?
I'm good. If the people good, I'm good.
Oh yeah. Hey, Eleanor. No, I thought maybe you wanted to get back into the function you was
No,
trying to go
I'm
to.
good. I'm good. I done
Okay.
said, hey, I done got me, a little prime rib and so I'm good.
Look, she don't win an eight, y'all. Y'all hear? She don't win an eight. Look, so Tiff, your list you sent me. So we gonna save. We gonna save. It. It's sad, but we gonna save our tributes and shout out to the three beautiful people that we lost at the end. We gonna talk
Okay.
about. We gonna start
Okay.
at the bottom of the barrel.
Look, listen, it's hot. It's hot in these streets.
Okay, so at first, I was thinking the debate, but then Diddy hit the wave. So let's just start right there. And thus far now, I ain't seen nobody saying they think they set Diddy up and yeah. I mean, I'm sure some out there, but I hadn't seen any yet. So Tiff, take off.
So I'm just gonna say that uh first of all, let me say I was really surprised that he did not get a bond. I was really expecting him to get a bond.
Hmm.
So that was very interesting to me. I listened to his attorney on CNN last night,
Uh-huh.
and I thought he had a very good presentation. However, I don't think anybody can unsee the video with him and Cassie.
Got you.
And I do think that when all is said and done, it's gonna there are gonna be a lot of people implicated.
Most
I
definitely.
think that there's gonna be a lot of truth to what has been said. Um, and it makes me sad too, because I think
Yeah.
about in so many ways how hurt people,
Yeah.
and how the people around you can enable you to hurt people. And then I think about he has those kids. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
True.
Like, and so I don't ever take for granted when things are happening that there are people who are really innocent and who have a different perspective of these people. Um, and so my heart breaks for his kids.
Oh, most
Um,
definitely.
and I don't know how you reconcile all of that. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was saying, well, if he was doing all of this, then think about what he's doing to his kids. But I also think that people can be multiple things. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Like, you can be a good father and still be an asshole and mistreat other. So I think you can be all of the things, and I think it is just it's sad. It's just really, I mean, it's just
It's
sad.
sad.
That you look at him, you look at R. Kelly. Um, it's a lot of talent, and again, I think it's very indicative of probably people being enabled to do certain things.
Yeah. And money,
Um,
money,
and
because
money.
if he didn't have money in the platform, it would not be happening. But Tiff, the thing, we never think about the far reaching effects that things have. Even when you have people that do hideous crimes, murder, and stuff like that. Even with some of the serial killers, the mass shooters, all of them didn't necessarily come from terrible families. So
Right.
you still have those families that are wounded
And a
because
lot of
of this.
times the families are terrible. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I think I tell people I don't believe bad people are born. They're created at some juncture point,
yeah.
circumstances,
What
things
you're
happen.
exposed to.
And so, right. And so, like you said, the consequences are really far reaching because people have family members who love them even through their dysfunction and,
Yeah,
all of their issues. And so it's hard, and I
yeah.
think he should be held accountable. My heart breaks for anybody who was a victim or an alleged victim because I can't imagine, what a lot of them have gone through. Just, the fear that they described, the days long events that required IV treatment, and what I mean. I just can't even
I'm just
fathom
like,
what all of that looks like.
and you are, we'll say like Tiffany, she's a professional lawyer. I'm a nurse, professional nurse. Okay. So
Imagine.
you can, I mean, from you speaking from a legal perspective, you were saying I can't, him not getting bail. And I was thinking,
I was surprised.
I'm gonna tell you why I wasn't surprised, and I'm not a legal person. I always feel like since all of this has been coming down the pipe, okay, they've been talking about it. Number one, I'm thinking, did it need has some deep, deep traumatic emotional
He's got some
trauma?
demons. He's got
Because
some
my
demons.
thing is this, most folk, when you get on the radar of somebody, you get rid of stuff. You ain't gonna have no 1,000 bottles of lubricant. And I'm sitting there thinking, something is not right with you anyway. The fact that it's kind of like the drug people, and maybe the drug guys. When they hear about the popo, they get the tossing and they get the tossing and
But you
running.
you know what's really interesting to me, and I think this goes to his ego and
Yeah,
sense of being
narcissistic.
untouchable. Because if you knew, and I tell people, we all know what we do, right? Like I
Yeah,
know everything I have done. So if Cassie is coming to me way back when saying, "Hey, you gonna run me this money or I'm gonna sue you," when I know everything I have done to Cassie, I would think you would be writing her a check for whatever she asked, because I am convinced that if he had a paid her off, we wouldn't be here because she would not have filed her lawsuit.
oh
But
yeah.
him not paying her off, she filed her lawsuit, and I think when everybody started reading the allegations in her lawsuit, I think that's when the feds were like, "Oh, wait a minute, what's going on
It
here?"
can't be just one, and that's what people
Right.
fail to realize.
And
I
at
know.
that point, he should have cleared the whole house. Like we would have wiped the whole everything. Guns,
Yeah,
videos, everything. I probably would have set the whole house on fire. Like just burn it down. Like set all
yeah.
these
Well,
houses
you
on
know what
fire,
though?
tear them down, get rid of them.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like, and we don't have anybody per se in law enforcement, but I know with talking, having a conversation with Terrell, one of the things he said, Val, he said most people don't realize what usually lead to federal type investigations and deeper is what you said. Cassidy said something in the interview, whether she intended to or not, just how they are trained to interview,
They
that
heard something.
indicated that,
Right.
wait a minute, she ain't just talking about her. Wait a minute. But you know what? This is the interesting thing we talked about. And y'all, let me definitely qualify this. Under no circumstances do I want P. Diddy to get away with this. And I want everybody that was
To be
complicit,
held accountable.
everything
Hmm.
that
Need to be held
participated.
accountable.
But me and my was it me and my sister? Yeah, me and my sister were talking today. And this is what we literally said. We say, isn't it amazing how Hugh Hefner literally was allowed to have a full legal life. We know it's prostitution and all pretty much what P Diddy had going, but it was okay with the Playboy.
Well, but
But
but but let's do this now. I don't know, and there probably was some coercion, but I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say Hugh was locking them up, not letting them leave, beating the brakes off of them.
we're not beating him, but
But
he
I
had to put
mean,
on.
those are the allegations against
Yeah, I can
puffy,
believe it.
So I
He
think
is wounded. He is
he
a
Hugh
dark,
Hefner
wounded
had
person.
definitely had prostitution going on, and
Yeah,
it was probably illegal prostitution, and everybody turned a blind eye. But I don't know that it rose to the same level as what they're saying
yeah,
about. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And I
Like,
want to know who was in there giving IV rehydration.
even when they were talking about Cassie, he had Cassie to have a breast job, and then he didn't like it, and the plastic surgeon was like, "No, that's just swelling. It's gonna go down," and he made the plastic surgeon take it out to reverse it the next day. Now, can you imagine how traumatic and painful that had to have been for
And
her?
and I hope the plastic surgeon never ever
The
ever ever
plastic,
ever.
no, ma'am, the plastic surgeon mysteriously drove off a cliff in California.
Oh, so he gone. Okay, or
She,
she.
like a couple of months after this happened.
This reminds me of the old style mafiosa type stuff. That's really what it is. But it just goes back to how you get a bunch of people. Now, okay, I know y'all like money, but there's something else wrong with you to go along with something this dark and evil, and it's just no words. It's just no
I've
words.
never understood people who can be around and watch other people be abused.
Look, Eleanor, I got to put this up. This one, she from my hometown, but she live here. Eleanor said that Cat Williams said they was crazy. They was mad with
And he
Cat.
did. They was mad with Cat, but he
They was,
showed everything he has said has come to fruition.
but you know what though? This is the thing with me. Like before you came on, Tiff, I was talking about the pastor. I was like, all the priests out there, y'all need to have a revival and a casting out of demons over Texas, cause baby, what I went and looked back at all of these pastors that has fallen. All of them except maybe one out of
Come out
seven,
of
8 or 9
Texas.
either came out or in Texas or came out of Texas, have a connection to Texas. Which
Hmm.
I say, God tired of y'all. God, it's no different. Even with those pastors and stuff that do this perversion. And even if you generally speaking, when these pastors start having their moral failures, it's usually with somebody that's wounded. They counseling them supposedly.
Because
And
those are easy prey. Those people are easy prey.
yeah, and they get caught up, and then they really throw the woman away. I'm happy to see now that even in the church side, more of the women are being vindicated.
Hmm.
People are listening. Like I said, that church, they was like, "You ain't our pastor. We ain't paying you." It wasn't no you on leave. It was like, "See ya."
Bye.
Wouldn't want to be you. And I actually
Hmm.
went on YouTube today. I said, "Let me see what he's preaching." Oh my goodness! And I did share this on Facebook. Oh, he's just dogging everybody else out. You see what I'm
Of course.
saying?
Hmm.
And y'all sit here talk about abortion, LGBTQI, all this other stuff, but you're doing the same treacherous thing. So I just hope and pray that none of Diddy children come out and say,
I
I
Yeah,
just
I hope none of them have. I worry about those boys, and I hope those boys don't end up being implicated.
if
Those
they were a
older
part
boys.
of it,
Yeah, I
whether
I
they
hope.
wanted to be or not.
Right, right. I hope. I pray for those kids because
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
just
like grooming. It's no different when you
right.
have white supremacists that groom their children over. You have these countries in usually Middle Eastern countries that groom these young kids to be really go on self suicide missions. You
Yeah,
think about even with the Twin Towers, those
that
men,
yeah. They
they
start
were
them early
groomed for
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yep.
one of my friends, he retired from the military, was a colonel, and everybody at that time was calling them cowards. He said, "Valor, I'm a soldier. I was in the military 30 years." He said, "Do you know how brave and how tied into
Listen,
what you believe you got to
look.
be to drive a plane into some
Listen. I tell folks, you can call them people a lot of things, but you cannot call anybody who goes on a suicide mission a coward.
a
Cause
coward?"
to do Ain't nowhere in the world. I ain't flying no plane in no building. I'm not driving no truck in no
I ain't
building.
putting
I'm
on no
not putting no
vest.
bomb on me. No, 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 no.
No, and this is the
Mm-mm.
thing he said.
Mm-mm.
He said I was over a battalion, and if they had asked me to drive a plane in the summer, a tank, I would have been like, where my papers to get out? I
Uh-uh.
love America, but it ain't
You
that.
Mm-mm. You
It
on
ain't
your own, and like you said, I mean, you got to be really rooted in an ideology
yeah,
to be self-sacrificial. Whether we agree with the ideology or not, it takes that's a it take a whole lot because I ain't
yeah,
able.
yeah.
I ain't able.
Well, we're gonna mention one more thing about Diddy because you say it reaches further than you think. I can't remember the college. Diddy had a major funding for this college, so now they're taking that away. The
Howard.
scholarships. So y'all look how many kids were benefiting.
And you know what? And Howard gave the money back. Which I was like, we'll take the degree, we gonna keep your money. But no, Howard gave the money back. They gave
Yeah,
$1 million back. They was like, we don't want
that's
no
what I'm
parts of it.
saying. So you
But
all,
but I will say this. I have to respect Howard for that because all money ain't good money.
yeah, you definitely have to. But at the same time, as you said, the
It's a lot of
implication,
kids.
a lot of kids now that they have factored that in.
Hmm.
It's not going to happen. And then the other side of it, we'll complain, but do all the Howard alumni support? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give back. So that's something. So look, we gonna leave this alone because we already know how this gonna end. The only way he get off, Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit gonna have to come off the throne and take over the whole courtroom, and that
Well,
ain't happening.
I tell people when the feds come knocking, it ain't about if you gonna do time, it's how much time you
How
gonna
much?
do.
Oh yeah,
Just
because
go on and get your mind right.
yeah, and y'all take note of that.
Get your mind
The
right.
feds may call you this year, 2024. If they out to get you to prove it, it may be 2034. And like Tiffany say, when they come, they pull up with an 18 wheeler with a bunch of receipts.
And they already know. They know everything they need to know. So just get your mind
To
right.
go on and get it right. Well, look, let's talk about Huckabee Sanders' statements first before we get to the big D. First of all, to show your ignorance and downright meanness, many women that have children are not mothers, do not take on the mothering instinct. Hence,
Absolutely.
the foster system is huge, and also sorry dads, because even if the mother didn't take responsibility of the child, the father could if he chose to. So for you to say she's not humble because she don't have children. Now, my thing is, I've seen some things of people speaking out, but what is the GOP saying? They digging
You know,
in.
they're digging in and first of all, she does have kids.
Yeah,
She got kids. She didn't birth them, but the way that her bonus kids talk about her, you can
mama love.
absolutely tell she has been present and a part of her life. That's number one. But number two, it is sad that in 2024, we're
Yep.
going to say that the value or anything about a woman is directly related to whether or not she has or does not have children. Like I I just can't. I
Yeah.
mean, it felt like when I heard her say that, it literally felt like a time I remember my grandmother talking about. When women didn't have the same amount of rights and they were really
Yeah.
expected to just be barefoot and pregnant. And I could not believe that somebody who has moved up the ranks as she has would say something so crass and without even having any empathy for other women. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, let me tell you,
she
I
has
went
to
and
have
read.
friends who don't have kids and who couldn't have kids that wanted kids. And this is what comes out your mouth. Like, I mean, as women, we supposed to be kind of, sticking together in some of this
Oh
stuff,
no,
irregardless of political
baby,
party.
I don't even have that expectation, and I'm a glass half full person, but I just live in the reality of where we are because this is my thing. When she goes, unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble. First of all, if
And
you got
kids ain't the only
anybody in your
thing that's gonna
family,
keep you
yeah,
humble.
if you care
You're
about
right.
people. But what I loved, because I went and found out, oh,
Bad life will keep you humble.
oh, tell me about it. But hey, y'all, hey, Kirsten Imhoff got him straight about Kamala.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Oh yeah. She jumped. She posted something. She said, "Oh yeah. Oh no, no, you didn't. No, you didn't go there." I'm trying to find it. She said um that Kamala is very much a parent, a mother.
Hmm.
And then people, she's a godmother. That,
Hmm.
as a matter of fact,
She got a
Kamala,
niece. Like,
yeah, Kamala is impacting many young people lives. And this is me.
hmm,
You don't have to like a person or agree with them. Tiffany knows, and y'all do too. I don't agree with a lot of things Kamala says, but I'm with you when you're right.
right,
I don't care who you
right.
are,
That's
GOP,
right.
independent, or whatever. Like even when I can't remember the exact statement that JD Vance said, but they took the beginning of the statement off, which really totally misrepresented what he said.
Right,
He did not say he did not care. He said what we all say. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, this happens.
right, right.
Uh, and that's what he said. So it doesn't matter that you don't like JD Vance, but you cannot just willfully continue to lie for convenience, for convenience. And my old Val woke up a little bit when I read what Sarah had said. And then I had to say, okay, Lord, a part of representing you is suppressing that. Because my thoughts of process were not very nice about her in some ways, which she's been said some very nasty
Hmm.
things about her. So how quick you forget. I'm telling you what it reminds me of. You remember John River, the comedian?
Hmm.
Oh, she was crass and harsh.
Yep.
Say anything. No empathy for anybody. And what was it? Was it her husband or her former husband that died by suicide or was a child? And I
I don't
remember
remember.
it was cold and crass what people were doing. They were making jokes and they were doing it
Hmm.
like, oh, you drove them crazy and made them do this.
Hmm.
Where she was on weeping, crying. And I was like, wow, as many people.
You dish it out, but you can't take it.
Yeah. Now, oh God, you don't pay evil for evil, but look, everybody ain't following the Bible, okay, y'all?
That's right.
You got some
That's right.
people that you raise up on them. Oh, they coming for you. They coming
They
for you.
gonna
So that,
clap
that
back.
was that was the thing. And I admire, as they say, the second gentleman. He spoke out too, and I thought about unlike Ted Cruz, because I wish I was like y'all. If Terrell don't defend me, we're gonna have some problems up in this camp.
Me and Jermaine gonna be turning like good gas.
Look, and then Tiffany, the first thing you're gonna do, let me call my dad.
And you know it.
And y'all listen. Tiffany's father is one of those good old country dads, and don't he still wear overalls too now, Tiff? Does he
Every
still?
now and then.
Every now and then. So
Every
y'all,
now and then.
y'all know when he come down the road with the dust kicking up,
He
he got
coming.
3, 4 shotguns
He
laid
coming.
in the rack,
Locked and loaded.
and he
Locked
gonna
and
look.
loaded.
He just gonna come in on 2 wheels and
Locked
bust
and
the front,
loaded.
bust the front door.
Look, I don't understand that. Like I don't, and especially when you talk about Ted Cruz, I don't know how his wife can go home. Like I can't, I wouldn't be able to go home. We wouldn't be able to share space because there's a line, and I don't care how mad I get at Jermaine. I ain't finna let nobody else disrespect him. Period.
Yeah.
Oh no day.
That's right. No, you can't say that. You can't say that. That's
You
like
know,
I tell people, even if you're a dear friend, can't nobody talk about certain people in front of you. No,
not at all.
we
Nope.
are not. We're not even going down that road. We're not even
Nope.
going down this road. And this is what you're going. People don't realize the things you do. Oh my God, y'all, they could affect your children.
And and that's the thing with Sarah Huckabee too. Like, you're saying this stuff and your kids are listening. Like, what is it that you're saying or that your kids are taking from this moment? Whether that you may not intend for it, but they're
Yeah,
watching, and they're listening and they're taking cues from you. So are your kids going to grow up and think that their value is only in whether or not they have kids, or that they matter only because they've had kids? Like, stop.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, let me tell you what Kirsten said. This is what she ended her statement. She said, I love our blended family and I'm grateful to have her in it. So, you
That's a
all,
beautiful thing.
yeah, that's a beautiful thing because I, Tiffany, it's almost exhausting. Just having to almost, I ain't gonna even say relive the civil rights movement because this is to me worse than, because what our forefathers and foremothers were fighting for was for rights, for the ability to just live a decent life without being
Hmm.
ridiculed, beaten, assaulted, abused, lynched, hanged, raped.
Right.
We, with I say our pseudo freedom that we've had, we're like, okay. I went to school. I think about even when I went to UAB, as they call it, PWI. At that time, Scotty McCaleb was the president. He was very intentional because UAB has always been a very
Hmm.
multicultural
Right.
place.
Right.
They embraced people from other countries. And of course, I know
Hmm.
y'all gonna say, well, they're not illegal. Let me tell y'all something. If people are leaving their country running from oppression, they ain't worried about getting paperwork up front. They trying to escape being oppressed and in the hopes that if
There.
they come here, they'll get a better life. But they did multicultural things. We used to have the different meals. They would
Hmm.
allow each of the cultures to prepare their dishes so we could get to
Are you
learn
gonna
their
learn?
culture and everything. And so, like I said, I went to UAB 1983 and I finished in 1988. We the music during the 80s, you remember, it was a black or white music.
Right. It was just
Yeah,
good. You had good
Boy
music.
George, Air Supply, Prince, whoever. It wasn't no black music, country music. We just
Hmm.
listening to good
Music.
music.
Yep.
And then it's like I said, after them towers went down, that was the first blip on the map of wait a minute, we
These
can't
people.
we can't trust them or something. As if,
Hmm.
and that was however many people flying up plane 246 or whatever. Those were six individuals that
Well,
did that.
Val, first of all, no man can be illegal on stolen land.
You got that
I tell
right.
I tell people that all the time. Like, can't nobody be illegal here when the land is stolen. Let's just get that real clear. But it's always interesting to me that people of color, where the um wrongdoings of a few people across the masses, right?
Yes,
If one black person do something, one East Indian person do something, it
it's
is
everybody.
borne by everybody. No other they Europeans don't have that. Like, Jeffrey Dahmer can go in and do whatever he does, and it's
That's Jeffrey
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer did that. Those characteristics are not attributed to the entire culture. And I don't know what that like I don't know how that narrative has always been able to withstand the test of time. And I tell people all the time, like, they're bad people do bad things, but you can't put that on an entire race or
Race.
ethnicity of people. And we
And
gotta,
I tell people this:
got to
if
push back
all
on
of
that.
somebody, if all of a race was whatever, let's say if all the black people were what they claim, it will be mayhem and lawlessness and everything going on 24/7.
Going on
No,
all the
no
time.
type
Yep.
of rest. It's just that it's magnified. Also, we're the only thing get identified as black on black, whatever it is. It's never, it's not even Hispanic on Hispanic or whatever. But I was having a conversation with a gentleman who's Jewish, and of course he referred to the Holocaust and was
Hmm.
like nobody talked about the Holocaust, and they was. I said, yes, everybody knows that the Holocaust was terrible. I mean, stacking y'all up in mass graves,
I
burning
went to
you.
the museum last week.
Yeah, I saw you post that.
Yeah.
But and he was saying like slavery wasn't the worst thing that could have happened to black people. And I
Four
stopped
hundred,
him.
400 plus years.
I told him I
Not
stopped him.
not just February. Four
Yeah, you
hundred
know
plus
what I told
years.
stop. I said, let me tell you something. Don't you make that statement in
Ever.
front of anybody's black. And see, baby, I am really submitting my life to the Holy Spirit because the old Val, I would have handled him a different way. Cause what my bubble came up and I said, I ain't gonna say this time. I'm gonna push it back down. But if the conversation comes up again, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say, FYI, you may have been your folks may have been Jewish when you got here, but now on the census, you are white. You're white. And that's what
Hmm.
people need to realize. All the other people that came over here, immigrated, Jewish, Greek, or whatever, they're considered white now. The Hispanics and the Asians and black folk, and then is what is it? Hispanic, non-Hispanic, or Hispanic.
Yeah.
Those are the only differentiations that are made on the census. The other folk are white.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. So when you walk into a space, they see a white male. You no longer seen. He don't even have the complexion of like Jewish people did and
Right.
look. So it's just kind of like no, yes, all of it was evil. That's the thing. Why are you competing about what was
I was
more
gonna say we don't
egregious?
right. We don't have to figure out which was worse. We can two things can both be true. And the
Yeah,
Holocaust was terrible. And when I tell you they've got some places in that museum that will just break your heart. But I'll also say there's so many similarities. I mean there's similarities between what was happening then and what's happening now.
yeah,
And there was also a lot of similarities between slavery and how that happened. But
yeah,
I tell people we have done a disservice in our educational system in minimizing the time span of slavery, because I think so often we think that slavery was just kind of a couple of years. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Slavery lasted 400 plus years. Like we're talking about centuries of people being in oppression and in bondage. And that's just you know
yeah,
overwhelming, and I don't think we really I don't think we teach or really understand the depth and breadth of that.
yeah. Well, I can tell you that in sharing with people because I'm 58. I'll be 59 next month. And when I share with them that I grew up going to the cucumber field, the potato field. Eleanor's on
Hmm.
here; she can attest to this. And you all, I wasn't going to the field as a slave, but I was going to the field to help my family have income. My older siblings more so than me. So you all, back in the day when you went to the field, as we called it wasn't cause you was like, Mommy, Dad, I want to go out here
Go
in this
to
house on a pick cucumber. And guess what? When you pick them buckets of cucumbers and them sacks of potatoes, that wasn't your money. You
right.
might you might have got your back then, y'all. If you got 50 cents, you could shop in
You
the
did
store
good.
all day. I mean you could buy a whole lot of stuff. You got you a big old honey bun, drinking all that stuff. You can get about 5 cookies for a penny. They was humongous. So even that, my mama was cleaning churches and homes when I was first born. I was probably 8 or 9, maybe even a little older when she got a factory job. So if you like you said, I'm 58. So if my mom got her real job like 8 or 9, my dad was self-employed a mechanic. So literally you all 50 years ago, because even though black people were free, even here in Birmingham, a lot of people, my cousin who is 98, she retired from being a maid over the mountain.
Hmm.
So she did that all of her life. Okay.
Hmm.
All of her life. Now, did her life come up as a result of taking proper care of some of the wealthiest people in Alabama children? No. As a fact, to show that they didn't even want her to stop working, and she was in her 70s. Like they was talking about, we love you so much. No, y'all literally thought y'all owned her. You know what I'm saying? Because if you had loved her so much, And let me make this clear. I'm not putting anybody down that lives in public housing, because you gotta do what you do. But if they had really loved her that much, they would have at least made her a homeowner. They would
Hmm.
have at least they would have bought her a house in Inslee. So you know what? We really appreciate you, and bought her a car.
You know,
You know, so
love is a very interesting thing. And I read this book, and it's based on the life of Abe Lincoln and what's her name? Not no Thomas Jefferson, and
yeah.
the slave that he had the kids by.
Uh-huh.
And it talked about how when he grew up with this. Thomas Jefferson grew up with a slave. It was his best friend. And at some point he was freed. And so when he was freed, Thomas Jefferson, he left. He left the plantation. And Thomas Jefferson was upset about it because he was like, "We friends, how you just gonna leave?" And the
Yeah.
guy's like, "Yeah, we were friends, but y'all own me. Now I'm free, I can leave." And so they said that was one of the issues he had with freeing his black children, was that he was afraid they were going to leave
Mm-hmm.
and not come back. And that shows that interesting dynamic of love and ownership. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And what
Yeah. Sally
one
Hemings.
views as, yeah, that's her name. What one views as love may not feel like love to the other part.
Yeah.
And that's
And
that
Sally couldn't say
perspective.
no. It ain't like she got a vote. It wasn't like he showed up and say, "Dear Sally, I want to rape you tonight. Are you in agreement?" I mean, come on. Come on. But you know what? It's I don't know. My heart really breaks for our children.
Yeah,
It really breaks for our children, and that
yeah.
if you know, girl, I think about when I was able to buy the salary I was able to buy my first home off. It was because things were affordable. When
Right.
I bought my first car, and it's okay, you all. We're always going to have classism. It's not going anywhere. But now we ain't really got classism, y'all. We just got them and us.
We've got, but you know what? When you look at the profit margins of these companies, I am convinced that corporate greed is what's killing us.
Oh yes.
It's
Who was that? Who was that? They posted made billions, and they said, "Remember this." What company was it? They said, "Remember this when you go at Kroger's." Kroger's. I got to see if I can find that. I was like,
Well,
"Wow, nope,
I tell people that's all I want. Tell me how much profit you made, because if you making $900 million in profit and eggs are $3, then that say to me that you could make 500 million in profit and let the eggs be $2. You know what I'm saying?
yeah."
Like,
Well, you know what I
you know,
laugh at? Egg lamb. I said, y'all, who would have thought egg lamb best would be the cheapest eggs in the grocery
okay,
store?
tell me about it.
It was big. Okay, this was September 12th, 2024. Operating profit of 815 million.
That's profit.
Operating profit.
That mean that's after I paid the bills.
And I forgot how much this one I read had the CEO. It was like $15.9 million.
And see why you can't just get $10.9 million or $8.9 million. I mean, when you
And it's just like, wow, 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 wow. So, and you look at Blue Cross Blue Shield. They always like
don't get me started.
they start getting these, oh, we're going to give you some bonuses. This is my belief. If you're a CEO of a company like this, I don't think you should get bonuses. That's what they hired you for. Your salary is your bonus. Everything extra that you get, you need to give it to the people that made sure that you're the reason. Like AT&T just came off strike. I didn't read the details of what everything that they got, but I, at this point, I, we need to come up with some type of Boston Tea Party. It's just time for the people to go
Well, I
radical.
promise, if I didn't have kids, I wouldn't have insurance. I promise I wouldn't. I
Oh yeah.
It just, what I pay in insurance a month, it just makes no sense.
And think about the person, Tiff. If you like, I know you do this. I think about this. What about the person that makes $10 even to $25 an hour? Because if you really want an equitable system, you could do this in America. You can have sliding scale. The
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Green Hospital that I worked at, that's how people paid for their care. It was sliding scale. It was like if you made this to this, this was the percentage that you paid. Because like I said, whether you made $500,000 a year or 50, when you pull up to the gas tank, it doesn't say input your income.
You sure don't.
You still got to pay for it. And then the other part of it, we talk about people so bad. We're like, well, you shouldn't go anywhere. You shouldn't go to a movie. If you're struggling, you need to save that money. But y'all, some people gotta have something to do to
Some kind
distress.
of outlet. I tell people that all the time when I hear people say, "Well, they bought their kids Jordan." So what? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they ought to be able to buy their kids Jordans
Yeah,
every now and then. Like you shouldn't have to work just to pay bills, and you shouldn't always be struggling or never have, never being able to do something nice for your family or to take,
family, yeah.
take your kids out to eat or do something
Well,
nice
first of
just cause.
all, Jordan cost what they cost. We all know that.
Right?
Money. Ella just put in that drug companies charged with the EpiPens, $300 to $400. But this is what I find interesting in healthcare, especially in cancer treatment. If you can't afford it, forward it. You submit something and they give it to you. And how
Listen,
you gonna give
my
me the med, but you want me to pay
listen.
4,000 for it?
There is a shot that my daughter has to take. It costs $10,000. We pay $10 through the pharmacy thing,
Yes,
but but you gotta have insurance in order to get the discount. Now they don't bill it to the insurance, but you gotta have insurance. But my whole thing is, it can't cost $10,000 if you gonna let me buy it for 10.
yeah. And Terrell,
You know what I'm
same thing.
saying? Like
Blood
it
thinner.
can't it cannot cost $10,000 if I'm gonna get to pay $10 for it. Like I don't care how you do that math, it ain't no way that it costs
That
ten thousand
means they
dollars.
got a big, deep coffer of money somewhere, somewhere. Well,
Right?
look, go on and jump into your hot topic,
What's my other hot topic?
the debate.
Woo! So that let me tell you something. So I had soccer duty that for the debate, right? So
Hmm.
I'm in the car listening to the debate, trying to carpool kids from Columbus, Georgia, back to Auburn from soccer practice. But when I tell you, and I had it in my ear, because I had kids in the car, so But listen, I yeah. I don't know what to say other than one candidate was prepared and the other one clearly was not. And I'm tickled by all of this. She had an earring on and people were talking to her in her ear. That's what Jersey said. She said, Mama, they said Kamala Harris had an earring and the people were telling her what to do. I said, Jersey, do you know how impossible that would be in real time? I said she was prepared. And in being prepared, you have an idea of what the topics are that are going to be covered. But I was also really surprised that he allowed her to bait him so easily. And I thought he should have been prepared for that and had a different
I'm
kind of
not.
response.
I'm not. Narcissistic people, they don't have any emotional intelligence. All you need to know is the trigger words immediately. Actually, when
And
it,
that's
it
what
came
Elon
on,
Musk said. When Elon Musk said that, I said, "Oh,
yeah,
not
you got no,
Elon Musk. Mark Cuban
Mark
on the
Cuban.
video
Did
you
you?
sent me
Yeah,
when Mark
yeah,
Cuban was talking about you love to negotiate somebody like that because all you got to do is trigger them and you
yeah.
already gain
You
position."
mentioned crowd size. You say something about his upbringing or anything like that. That throws him out. But
That crowd size had him going. He went on and
yeah.
on about that crowd
But look, I just posted a link. This comedian's name
size.
is Josh Johnson, and y'all know I don't like none of the politicians. GOPs are the Dems. Okay, I'm in that life, but it's a 40-minute set, and he had me captivated. Okay, just listen to him talk about the debate, and and it's so balanced because he talks about like Kamala shortcomings, but his thing with Trump was like, you they had asked you a whole nother question, and you still was going back to
Still,
that crowd size.
that
That
crowd
crowd
size
size.
had him shook, baby.
Yeah, and going back, and I hate to bring Diddy up again, but I'll bring him up for this purposes. Although I don't think Trump did none this treacherous, but we don't know. Man, I don't know. I hope not. But it's the same wound that comes from childhood.
Yeah,
Trump is his dad that did not validate him, and he always had to perform to get his approval. So that's performing. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm like. Tell me I'm like. But I did start praying because Kamala was milliseconds from saying it.
baby. When she said this, I said,
She
"Oh,
and she
sister."
rocked. Yep,
I
I
said,
did.
"Now
I said,
can't
don't
nobody
do it.
question your blackness, now, 'cause, baby. We all heard that, felt
Yeah,
that.
and I actually had to go. I said, well, they told me her
That
face. So
was
I went and saw what her favorite
that
word
was one
was.
time. That was one time for the culture, baby.
And actually, and that's what the young man talks about. He said, well, just think some of the things she did is what people
It's
we want to do. It was like them looks. And he was
it's
like, y'all,
culture.
yeah, and he a young black guy. He said, y'all, let me tell y'all something. When you're dealing with a black woman, there's just some things
It's
that
just
you don't
in
even
us.
go there. You don't even want to go there because you know what the clap back gonna be. And when he said, oh, I think what it was, she said he wanted to invite, was it Hamas to the White House? One of those
Hmm.
terrorist groups.
Yeah,
And that's when she said this. And I mean, she literally rocked. She literally,
cause it was coming.
this
Coming.
literally, and I
You
was
said
like,
your bubble came up, baby. That bubble came up, and she was fighting it. She was like, Lord, she was fighting it.
the sad part about it, he would do it. And he makes his whole thing in this video. He's like, y'all, at the end of the day, nobody expected to have really truly come down to having these two candidates, period.
At
You
all.
know,
Not at
Joe
all.
Biden at all. And we
Not at
thought
all.
for sure the GOP would pick somebody else. He said, so now we're just at a point of what's gonna let us live to see another day where we can figure out how
What
to
to do
fix
next?
this, what to do. And Tiff, I told you I was this close to just calling it. I ain't gonna be able to do it. But one of my friends had the
You got no
great.
choice.
I told her this though. I said you gave the most um convincing, and I won't even say argument, this statement. This is what she said. She said, Val, choose who you think gonna do the less harm so we can live to fight another day
To
and
fight
get it
another
right.
day. That's
Cause she
right.
said if he gets in, we're gonna be in trouble. And I'll say this: if I honestly felt in my heart that Trump was the best person for people, I would gladly vote for him because I voted on both sides of the aisle.
Me too. Me
I,
too. I have
I
voted on
mean,
both
I,
sides of the
I,
aisle.
I do that because I'm gonna pick who I think is the better person. But I thought about is it Idi Amin? You
Hmm.
know him, I, typical personality. I mean, you saw what Idi Amin did to his family. I mean, this is, and I honestly hate to say this, but I even question, really truly, do Trump really love his children for real, or do they have to perform? I really, really question that at times. Like,
I think there's some dysfunction there. No different than in a lot of, in all of our families, when you
yeah,
look at acceptance and sibling rivalry, and I definitely think there's some things there.
yeah,
Because
and
I'm
it's sad.
always
It's really
yeah,
sad.
I'm always really intrigued by the two sons, because it definitely a lot of times seems like they're really vying for their dad's approval.
Yeah,
And then I would love to sit down and talk to Tiffany, because
most definitely.
I would love to sit down and talk to Tiffany.
Cause look, if you talk to her long enough, as my mom said, she'll tell it all. And this the other side. Y'all can say what y'all want to. Melania has left the building emotionally.
And and that's interesting too to me, because I don't know that they would have ever allowed any other candidate's wife not to participate. They've given Melania a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't see any other candidate on either side of the aisle having a spouse who's been allowed to not participate. Remember in Scandal,
Yeah.
when the president's wife didn't want to show up, and they told Millie she ain't had no choice, that she was gonna have to get on that campaign trail,
But
and
you know what?
she did just that. And I find that really interesting.
She's from Slovenia, isn't she from?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm tell you why she being allowed to do what she do. Cause all them USB documents is over there in Slovenia with some of her folks buried in the mountains, and she don't told them, mess with me, push me if you want to.
And it's all coming
She
out.
don't. That's what I listen. You can tell when people have a certain will of power. They say the bones buried.
Yeah, well, it's something. But I'm surprised that the masses have not, kind of required or
Right.
demanded more of her.
Well,
It's just all
I'll
been
say this
okay.
though. I will say this, and you saw this with Barron when they started coming for her son. You
Oh
saw
yeah,
what she did.
yeah,
She wasn't playing that, and she was
yeah.
like, "Oh, not on my watch." So, like I said, they listen. They got them discs. They got it in print. They
And
got
she
USB.
good.
Look, they got a
She
digital
good.
print.
Look, it's 7:57, and I got to say this too, because I think it's important when we have these conversations, and I think about all of the harm that's coming to Haitians all
Yeah,
over as a result of his comments, and a result of JD Vance's comments. And I think it's really important that all of us call people to task when they put innocent people in harm's way for any reason. You know what I'm saying? Because they talking about having meetings in Enterprise, Alabama, about how the Haitians are being treated because of comments that JD Vance
yeah.
made and a county commissioner made. And so, you know, if there's nothing that we can't begin to take away from this space, is to be very, very careful with our words, because they
Yes,
are
for
far
sure.
reaching.
Well, you saw
And you got kids
Silicaga,
got
didn't you?
uh-uh.
Oh, you need to look that up, Tiff. They had it was a what is it? City Hall meeting. So
Uh-huh.
apparently there are a lot of Haitians have shown up in Silicaga. And I think I forgot how many people, a couple 12,000, 21,000 people. And they're there, they're not doing anything. Which
Uh-huh.
if I were a citizen, and I'm not gonna say it's all pure driven with racism, but if a lot of people just start showing up that you hadn't seen, you are wondering where they're coming from.
Right.
Now, some of them old hateful, wicked people are diehard racists. Okay, you could tell from their comments, but from what the city council response was, they don't have any idea. They reached out to the state, the federal government. They don't even know how they're coming. Of course, kind of like this, and they're being bussed in, but ain't nobody seen no buses. So they're getting there
But
somewhere. But it
and I
goes
would
back to me
suspect
like Hoover
somebody
did.
got a job, and then they told their cousin, you could come on over here and get you a job. And then their cousin told their girlfriend, who told her
Yeah.
brother, who told his best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that there's this big, huge conspiracy in a lot of places. I
Yeah.
think people go where they find work, and they
And
doing work that we don't want to do.
well, the other part too is this. Like here in Hoover, where I live, y'all had the Hispanics build up the infrastructure and do all the work here. Then after everything was done,
Ran them out.
per se. They still have some that they allow to stay because you still need to use them. So it goes back to you'll use people to your advantage and to build all of your your generational wealth
Mm-hmm.
and then discard them after the
Yep.
fact. But what y'all messed up and didn't realize by the time you caught on, those Hispanic people and those that were documented, baby, they had started buying up property. They had
Mm-hmm.
started doing stuff. So they own, as a matter of fact, as I say, many of them are going to be just GOP simply for the sake of saving their money. But like going back to Mark Cuban, I would give him credit. Mark Cuban
I
started that
like
drug
Mark.
company. He started that drug company to make things affordable. And
And I was
Belize
gonna say that
loves.
that I was gonna say that pharmacy, that drug company he has is amazing. I know I have some friends who order their drugs from him.
Yeah.
Um, and it's amazing.
Well, his thing is, and you heard on the video I sent you, and I should have shown that to the pic. Let me see if I can find it. He said, him being as wealthy as he is, he has a duty
Right.
to help
To
people.
whom much is given, much is required.
Just think, rather than requiring people to pull themselves, struggle and fight to pull themselves up by bootstrap. And I'm talking about, I do believe people should work. But if you see a person that you know, okay, they're really, I can invest in them. Why not? Y'all always
Cause
talking
you
about
can't
paying it
spend all that
forward.
money. You can't spend all that money no way.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find Mark Cuban's because I got it on my phone, so I can't copy and paste it from. Well, yes, I can because I can do it from my phone. So Tiff, look, I don't know what other kind of stuff could come up, but let look.
Listen,
Even though we're
we
gonna
got
go over a
40
little
something
bit,
more, we got 40 something more days, so anything can happen.
well, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna quickly talk about. We gotta mention them: Frankie Beverly, Tito Jackson, and James Earl Jones. And I heard Tito died. He was en route to Mexico,
He
I
was
believe.
had a heart attack. Oh yeah, while he was driving.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And
And
he was what,
70,
72,
70,
70?
70, I think it
Yeah.
was. I mean, and you all, you never know. You never know. And look, tell your cousin, the mayor
Did
of
you see
Nolens,
did you see how the sixth ward, did you see the sixth
baby,
ward steppers?
that second line, that
Baby,
second line, baby, listen,
they
this is
did it.
this is something me and Valise laugh about all the time. Can't nobody, if it came by and they say that's a bluebird, no, let's start a party. We finna have a bluebird party.
Listen, listen, they don't play. And they know how to throw a party.
They y'all, it was simply amazing. Then I saw this drum line of young children in we're in Atlanta that were doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I was like, oh my God, did anybody go to work Monday? I don't think nobody went to work
Uh-uh.
Monday. That was
Mm-mm.
like a
It
fat
that
Tuesday
should have been a
holiday.
holiday. Look, that was a holiday.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then Tito, I always just remember Tito to me was the quiet, reserved. That he was thumping
Mm-hmm.
that bass and minding his
Yeah.
business.
Yep.
Minding his business. And then y'all, oh my God, the voice.
James, the voice.
James Earl Jones. Oh my goodness. I mean, and y'all, let me tell y'all, it's just hard for me to say I hate. I mean, James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones lived a good life.
He did. He
And
did.
y'all, this is a man that had a severe stutter, a severe
He
stutter
did. Uh-huh.
in that voice. I mean, Darth Vader. Oh my God. I mean, y'all, it's just simply
The Lion
amazing.
King. It's the
Yes,
Lion
the
King for
Lion
me.
King. Girl, look, and everybody was
And
crying. Girl, when you saw when they saw that, put the one up there of Mufasa in
see, that's it.
Simba.
When
Oh,
Simba's out there, Mufasa come up in the sky. That's it right there.
I
That
mean,
is
you
it.
cannot. So you all, these are, I mean, great, phenomenal icons that we have lost. My sister-in-law, who
Icon.
is now uh gone on to glory, baby. Frank, she never missed a Frankie
A
Beverly.
Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Her son was laughing. He was like, I was liking Frankie Beverly when I didn't even know really who Frankie Beverly
Right. That's right.
was.
That's
And he
right.
was talking about the concert when his mama made him go when he was a teenager. He said, I looked up and my mom up there dancing with some white man and they were just getting down. And I'm just like, I'm just shamed. He said he went and tried to make her sit down. She said, boy, get over there, sit down somewhere.
I know that's right.
This grown folks stuff.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, so celebrate them. Cause y'all, I'm just sorry to say for you younger folks, y'all not gonna have very many icons like this when y'all get our age. You Usher, who I'm trying to think of a few, Boys to Men. Think of a girl group. What girl is
That's not even that generation.
well, yeah,
Boys
that's
to
Valise
Men is with
generation.
right. You know that I guess they gonna have Cardi B.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Who are
And
y'all gonna be talking about with icons like the bands that stayed together? You know, it's so sad that y'all. I really hate that y'all life has become such a broken, torn tapestry. The quilt was
because
being quilted together.
the 70s and 80s and 90s got the best music.
Oh yes, the very best music. The very best music. So Tiff, you want to give the folks some parting words?
Yes. Make sure you're registered to vote. Check your registration status. They purging the rolls, so make sure you good. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell another friend, and tell them to tell a friend to get educated on what's on the ballot. It's not just about the presidential race. We got races up and down the ballot that impact you, your daily living. I was told when I was in DC, somebody said the lower you get down the ballot, the closer you get to the impact on your community. So don't
Yes.
just stay up at the top of the ticket. Vote up and down the ballot. And have a great next couple of weeks. And I'll see you on the third Thursday.
Okay, girl, you take care. Y'all
On
have a good
time.
night.
Look, I'm gonna be on time and in the house next time.
Hey, you out here going to see get you some what is it,
Listen,
prime rib and prime steak?
listen. Yeah, I'm doing my civic duty today. How I'm
Okay.
not.
Lady,
All
well, you
right, y'all
take
have a
care.
good night. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye-bye.